Well, good morning. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Uh, at least have the recording going. Um, hope everyone who is watching this, sorry about that, having a good day. So we're going to be in Proverbs 27. Just like yesterday, we're going to start off reading from the King James. Um, Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips. A stone is heavy, and the sand weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both. Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous. But who is able to stand before envy? Or jealousy, envy, jealousy, kind of hand in hand there. Um, Now I lost my place. I'm sorry. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful, or they're earnest or frequent. Um, the full soul loatheth a honeycomb, but the hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet. As a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, so doeth the sweetness of a man's friend, or heart by hearty counsel. Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not, neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity. For better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. My son, be wise and make my heart glad, that I may swear him that reproacheth me. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. Hey, Nomad, how are you? I went ahead and got started. I know these are early, so uh, I love that background, by the way. Definitely using it today. He that blesseth his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. A continual dropping in a very rainy day and contentious woman are alike. Whosoever hideth her hideth the wind, and the ointment of his right hand which bewrayeth itself. Iron sharpeneth iron. Since our short friend likes to say that so much, it kind of cringes me when I read this. So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof, and so he that waiteth on his master shall be honored. Master does not necessarily have to be hey Misty. A master doesn't necessarily have to be a slave master relationship. It could be someone who's taken another in and made them part of the family. As in water, face answereth to face. As in water, face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. Um, Again, hell, Sheol, um, are two different um, meanings between the Christian Bible and the Hebrew Bible. Sheol is a place of cleansing, whether it's cleansing fire, but it's a place you go to cleanse yourself and absolve yourself before you can move on to the next world. And if you're too stubborn, you can remain there for eternity. It's always your choice to learn, but it's not a place of eternal damnation if you go there. As the finding pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is a man to his praise. Though thou shouldest bray a fool in a mortar among wheat with a pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation? The hay appeareth, and the tender grass showeth itself, and herbs of the mountains are gathered. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. And thou shalt have goat's milk enough for thy food, and food of thy household, and for the maintenance for thy maidens. So that's chapter 27 in the King James version. So the only KJV I have is my soldier's Bible, which is very good. I like it. It's got a lot of inspirational stuff in it. It got me through some times. Uh, so chapter 27 in the Tanakh. And so when I get paid, I'm gonna get this Tanakh on PDF, so I can share it, so it's not just my ugly mug up here. Misty, is your dog good? No more getting into plants and getting sick? Okay, let's see. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you know not what the day will bring forth. That's good. That's good. I know we worry about them as much as we worry about our kids. So no, man, I can't tell you how much of a blessing you are. Singing the praises of Nomad, you guys, is I tell you, is not enough. Hey, Linda. Let a stranger praise you and not your own mouth, another and not your own lips. The weight of a stone and the heft of sand, the dolt's anger is heavier than both. I love the word dolt. Okay, so verse 3. The weight of a stone and the heft of a sand. After the two preceding proverbs, which are prudential exhortations, this verse reverts to the riddle form, as does the next verse. The cruelty of fury and anger's rush, but who can stand up to envy? Again, envy, jealousy. Better open reproof than hidden love. The wounds from a friend are faithful, but the kisses of a foe are profuse. So this is where it gets to the kisses of a friend are deceitful, right? In the Hebrew, it means actually means profuse or a lot. So the wounds from a friend are faithful. Both the content of the second verse and the larger context of Proverbs suggest that wounds here means something like cutting words of rebuke, in contrast to the hypocritical kisses of an enemy. In the sense that they are meant to serve one's best interest and are an expression of loyal friendship. Profuse, this is what the Hebrew term means. The implication is that the kisses are excessive and suspect. Yes, please hit the like button, you guys. I know you do. Y'all are faithful. My like to view ratio is very high, and I do appreciate that. So, a sated appetite disdains honeycomb, but to a hungry appetite, all bitter is sweet. Like a wandering bird from its nest is a man wandering from his place. Oil and incense gladden the heart, and a friend's sweetness more than inward counsel. So, a friend's sweetness more than inward counsel. The Hebrew is somewhat cryptic or perhaps more merely elliptical. Sweetness might be an ellipses for sweet counsel, the phrase rendered as inward counsel, or perhaps one's own counsel as a stat nefesh. I can't get my guttural response going right now, which could mean literally the counsel of the essential self, the counsel of the spirit, or simply a person's counsel. Do not forsake your friend or your father's friend, nor enter your brother's house on the day of your ruin. Do not forsake your friend. Fox understands the verb in context to mean ignore, although the evidence for the sense of azav elsewhere is scant. Nor enter your brother's house. The implication is that a true friend is a better resource in life than a brother. Better a close neighbor than a distant brother. Despite the verse breaks, this is obviously a separate proverb bracketed editorially with the previous one because of the comparison of a friend and brother. Get wisdom, my son, and gladden my heart, that I may give back an answer to my insulter. The shrewd man saw evil and hid. Dupes passed on and were punished. So the shrewd man, this proverb duplicates 22:3. So let's go back to 22:3. So the shrewd man sees harm and hides, but dupes pass him and are punished. Pass on and punished. Evidently, the unreflective dupe passes on in the direction of harm or moves right through it, not realizing the damage it is inflicting on him. Punished in this context suggests something like come to grief. Let's see. Take his garment, for he stood bond for another. For an alien woman, take his pledge. So take his garment. This is still a doublet of 2016 with minor changes. Let's see, 2016 is take his garment, for he stood bond for another, and for strangers take his pledge. So take his garment. Here, the reiterated warning against offering bond for another is cast as an imperative. Take his garment or whatever he puts up as security, seeing that he has been foolish enough to expose himself to this sort of risk. That's pretty good. Who greets his neighbor in a loud voice first thing in the morning. So, this proverb is an amusing observation on social behavior. When you are barely awake in the morning, the last thing you want is a bellowed and perhaps ostentatious greeting from a neighbor. That would aggravate me, but I'm the curmudgeon that if I had a porch, I would sit out on my porch yelling at uh, all the kids on the going by. Priestess, how are you? Yes, I always put the chat ahead of me. That's the way it goes. Let's use, in the words of Brick Jonesy, etiquette. So let's see. A maddening drip on a cloudy day and a nagging wife are alike. So a maddening drip. This proverb is somewhat different formulation of 1913. I don't want. Good priestess. That's a good thing. I heard the implants are pretty tough on you. Let's see, 13. Disaster to his father, a foolish son, and maddening drip, a nagging wife. So this is more into the poetic stages it that the Proverbs goes into. So maddening, the literal sense of the Hebrew torrid is driving away, a nagging wife. The literal sense is quarrels of a wife, but the context amply justifies the translation. Uh, this is that's no knock on the ladies. I think that's we could translate that back to a maddening partner now, right? Because because we're not a strictly misogynistic group here. Who conceals her conceals the wind, and her name is called right hand. So this is a longer analysis, so which I like. The Hebrew is unintelligible, as the translation indicates, and even with whoa, man. Yeah, Misty, I think I could deal with it. Pain just about anywhere, but mouth pain is horrid. Let's see. Translation indicates, and even with emendation, it is hard to make sense of this verse. The her may refer to the nagging wife of the previous verse, which I always assumed it was. In which case, the idea is that it is impossible to hide her because she is everywhere. The verb for the initial conceals is plural in the Hebrew, but has ended to a singular accord and with the second conceals. The literal sense of the second verset in the received text is and the oil of his right hand will be called Weshimin Yemino Iquara. This has been emended. It's not amended, it's emended. Emended. Partly in accordance with the Septuagint to read Weshima Yamin Yequeri instead of Yequeri. Even so, the meaning is unclear. Perhaps by a stretch, it could mean she is thought of as the right hand. That is powerful because there is no way to conceal or repress her. Amid all this confusion, Fox interestingly detects the pun Siphon, conceal, suggests Siphon, Tsafan in the first, Tsafon, north, and Yaman, right hand, is an alternate term for south. So either way, it's a powerful term for the wife. So, okay, 17. Iron together with iron, and a man together with his friend. So instead of iron sharpening iron, iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. So obviously it is not that, right? It is iron together with iron, a man together with his friend. So iron together with iron, this usually is understood to refer to magnetized iron, which clings to iron, and so does a man to his friend. The force of the proverb is in its terrific compactness, which the translation tries to preserve. So that makes a whole lot more sense to me than iron sharpeneth iron. The attraction of the metal of iron ore to iron ore, and then a friend to his friend. Let's see. Who tends a fig tree will eat its fruit, and who guards his master will be honored. Like water face to face, thus the heart of man to man. So again, the translation reproduces the strong countenance of the original. The reference is obviously to someone seeing his own reflection in water, but water is unstable and therefore an undependable or distorting mirror. Unlike an actual mirror of polished bronze, there were no glass mirrors in the era. Thus, one man's heart provides a tricky or deceptive image of what is in the heart of another. So that my intuition is 100%, is never 100%. It's a distorted image. Let's see. Okay. Sheol and perdition are not sated. The eyes of a man are not sated. Smelter for silver and kiln for gold, a man according to his praise. A man's reputation tests him, burns out the dross as a smelter tries silver or gold. So, protecting your reputation, but those things burn away when you look into the reputation of the man. Though you grind down a dolt with mortar, and in the pestle among the groats, his folly will not swerve from him. You must surely know the look of your flock. Put your mind to the herds. Dadgummit. So these words begin in multi-line proverb on the virtues of responsibility, pastoralism that runs to the end of verse 27. For wealth is not forever, nor a crown for time to come. Wealth in a pastoral economy, wealth would be measured chiefly in flocks. A crown, this term represents the intensification of the initial verset. Not only is wealth transient, but even a crown and the power and possessions that go with it is not forever. For time to time, literally for generation after generation. Think about the stories of Abraham and Job, and their wealth was quite literally in their flocks, right? And when God doubled Job's wealth, it was in his flocks. His family was not possessions, but it was doubled because the kids that were killed were in heaven, and he just gave the same number back on earth. But the flocks were doubled. You were always trading cattle and livestock. So the grass is gone, new grass appears, the mountains' grasses are gathered. So the grass, of course, is vital for feeding the flocks, and so it is important that there is new growth each year. There are sheep for your clothing, he-goats, the price of the field. So Fox's explanation seems plausible. You can always sell off some of your goats to purchase more fields to pasture the rest. Enough goat's milk for your food, for the food of your house, and viands for your young women. So the word for goat means she goat and is entirely different from the masculine term, which used in the previous verse. Hey, pets, cats, you're good. Uh, this isn't a long stream. We're towards the end of this, but glad you're here. So, viands, the literal sense is life. The usage may reflect an etymology analogous to viands to which you live on. So, hey, Joey. Well, hopefully you have 30 minutes to go back and listen. That's the end of chapter 27. I hope y'all are enjoying breaking it down and then going back and looking at verses that it references and stuff like that, and as it relates to Stan Haynes. Oh, hey, Stan. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Anyway, so sorry I missed you there. But and then the comparison to the KJV, you notice the flowery language of the Shakespearean era, right, in the KJV, and I think that takes away from the original. So anyway, that's all for this. I will see those of you who can at 2, and we will get some more Lao Tzu, and yeah, and then later on Orwell. So hope you get to go back and listen. 2 and 2, then 4, and then whatever the Hill Pirate has for us tonight. So y'all have a good evening or good morning and afternoon. See y'all soon.